Hello, Vanessa Webb, Stampin' Demonstrator here. Today I'm going to be showing you how to make this card. There's quite a few things happening on it, so I'm going to take you through the steps that I went through to make it. And yeah, maybe you can have a little go with this technique yourself. It's using the new blending brushes along with, so in case you haven't seen what a blending brush is, there they are. They're a little bit like complexion brushes, except we use them with our classic inks, and there's other uses for them as well. I'm going to be using the Butterfly Brilliance stamp set, and it's a large die that is from the what's it called, butterfly, I think Brilliant Butterflies or something like that. The dies, anyway, the dies that match this stamp set that go with it. You'll notice that the cover design isn't actual size. See how the die doesn't fit, but when we stamp it, and I've got the stamp on my block already, you'll see that the die fits it perfectly. Now there's also some gorgeous papers that coordinate with this whole suite, and you can get the whole suite in the early release that's out now. It will be coming into the new catalogue, so you'll be able to get it early and starting with this month. So it'll be available this month and next before the release of the new annual catalogue. So that's very exciting. Alrighty, so the technique that I wanted to show you was how to get this really cool sort of rainbow colour effect in your butterfly image. And I'm going to show you some other little tips and tricks on how to create a greeting. There's lots and lots of gold happening on this card. There's actually about 5 different types of gold. So I'll try and point them out as I go through. And I'm going to show you how I got this mottled gold leafing pattern on my butterfly too, that sort of random effect. So yeah, stay tuned for that as well. Alrighty, so what I'm going to do is, first of all, I'm going to ink up my stamp in Memento, so that's the Tuxedo Black Memento. You'll get to see how gorgeous these stamps are when I stamp them onto this basic white cardstock. They are beautiful. They sort of remind me a little bit of sketches, pencil sketches of butterflies, very photorealistic. Yeah, lovely effect. And there's lots and lots of different ways you can colour these. But you guys know that the stamp does all the work for you. So you don't have to know how to draw or sketch or draw realistic butterflies, anything like that. You just have to ink up your stamp, plonk it down on your cardstock and lift it up, and there's the magic, right? We all love that. So easy. Now all I've got to do is add colour. So look, what I've done is I've actually made a template with this die, first of all. I know it's going to cut out these butterflies eventually, but what I did was I cut out a plain piece of basic white cardstock, and I've just made what I would call a template, so that I can use this to create my colouring in of the butterflies. And I'm going to use 3 colours, just colouring 1 or 2 of these butterflies, just to kind of give you an idea about how I did it. You need to look out on my blog and my Facebook and my Instagram for the other cards that I've made using all of these different butterflies, because they're, I've made a couple of different cards using the same cutout, the same run through the Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, and you'll see I've picked up some different ideas and just different ways of using each of these butterflies. Right, so I put my template over the top of my stamped images so that they've got windows around the butterflies that I'm wanting to use. And this is our little butterfly here that I'm going to colour first. So I'm actually going to use the real red, and I'm going to ink up my brush and just come in, get rid of a little tiny bit first, make sure it's not too strong. Just come in on the tips of my wings there and give it a little bit of colour, like that. And now I'm going to come in with my green, which is actually garden green, and I'm going to use that in the middle of my butterfly, just for the body part. You don't have to be too precise with it, you're just sort of adding colour. And because you've got the template there, it's actually going to contain the colour in the one spot and give a nice outline. And when you come to cut it out, you'll have a nice sort of precise placement of the colour. If you wanted to, you could just make this a whole background of a card. That's another option. You don't need to cut the butterflies out and keep them separate. So here's my blue. I'm just going to go onto the tips of the bottom wings like that. There we go. So yeah, so you can have fun colouring your butterflies, but let me just show you what happens when you take the template away. So I'm just taking that top template. See how gorgeous that is? It's so beautiful. And all I've done is use 3 different colours and blended them really, really well with these brushes. They're so subtle and they work really, really well when you're wanting to blend colours together and even create your own. So let me just I'll just shut these ink pads. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut out all these butterflies. I'm not going to use all of them on this card. Obviously, I'm only using the one that I've coloured. But I'm going to keep the others safe somewhere for later on. And I'll be using them on other cards. So I'll just pop that down right on top of the cutting plate there, and I'm going to grab my butterfly dies. So yeah, we're just using the plain butterfly die from the Butterfly Brilliance, stamp set. Sorry, the Butterfly Brilliance bundle. And yeah, just get that straight and run it through. Yeah, they even look great, black and white. I just think they're stunning. They're so realistic. So many different ways to use them. Alrighty, so there's all my butterflies. I'm just going to grab this one. This is the one I need. And the others I'm going to pop away for safekeeping and use on another card a little bit later. I can colour those as I need to. Alrighty, so let me shoot this down here again. Here's my butterfly. And what I'm going to do is show you how I got that mottled gold effect with the gold leafing embellishment. Can you see how that is just kind of randomly going across the butterfly there? So what I did was when I mounted this stamp, or when I put the sticker on the other side, it's actually a cling mount stamp. It's red rubber, and in these little holes there were 6 actually, 6 little shapes, random shapes, and I punched them out, and I've seen people use these on blocks like I'm about to show you. There's lots and lots of different things you can do, but this is the effect that I wanted. I just wanted to have a bit of a random stamp so that I could apply the gold leafing just subtly across the image of the butterfly. So I've arranged, I'll just take this one off so you guys can see. I've arranged my my little bits of rubber randomly across the block, and I'm going to use my old embossing buddy. I know we don't have this in the catalogue anymore, but I love my embossing buddy. And I'm just going to ink it up in Versamark and just kind of stamp it really randomly and lightly, just like that. Because I don't want too much on there. I just want to see, I'll make sure that it's actually a little bit wet. You've got to have some of the Versamark kind of visible, so you know you've actually got enough on there. And then I'm going to dip it in to the heat and stick powder, which is there. Let's just have a look, and you can see just fairly randomly, I might just get rid of some of that. I just want it really subtle, so yeah, just give it a flick. And make sure that you can still see the colour, but you know where your gold leafing is going to end up, because you can see where the heat and stick powder is. Alrighty, let me grab my heat gun and I'll just give that a blast. Hopefully I won't burn my fingers. created a glue which I am going to be able to stick my gold leafing to. So I'm just going to pop that into my gold leafing tray. I've got a special tray. It's actually a biscuit box from IKEA, which works perfectly for my gold leafing. And yeah, if you don't want too much gold leafing on there, you can actually scratch little bits of it off before it sets, but it will only stick to where you have stamped and where you have applied the heat and stick powder. It just helps, this box actually just helps keep all of that gold leafing in the one spot so it's not spreading too far over your craft table. So there's my butterfly, looking very cute. See how that catches the light there? Just gorgeous. And I've got some of the Love You Always Designer Series paper. That's just black and white, really simple. And I'm not going to add any colour to that whatsoever because all the detail and colour is where the butterfly is. I'm just going to stick that down as my background. Oops, and I forgot to put my little ribbon there. You see I've used some of the fine art ribbon, which is also gold. So that's my first gold layer. So don't worry about that. We'll put that on later. I'll apply it some way or another. Now I'm going to put my butterfly on with dimensionals. So let me just grab some of those. It's nice to be able to have it sitting up a little bit so that it has a bit of dimension. And I would probably use about 5 of these dimensionals, the large ones, on the back underside of my butterfly. One in the middle for good measure, like that. There you go. You'll notice too that I've got a tiny little bit of gold thread, and there is actually some gold thread in the back of the catalogue. We don't have the one that's on the spool that comes like that, but you can actually undo the threads of one of our ribbon packs. It's got like a gold cord in it, and it's actually made up of several strands of this. So that's where I got that from, if you're wondering. So that's another layer of gold. I'm just going to pop this little guy in the middle here, like that. So you can sort of see him coming, popping off the rest of the card there. The other layer of gold is these faceted gems, and these are from yet another suite. You'll see them in the back of the annual catalogue, and they're just gorgeous to add to a project if you're wanting to bring out the gold toning like I do. I'm just going to put 3 of them, scatter them around, and I've still got room to put a greeting, which is going to start off in the middle of the butterfly and then kind of gradually go down the page. Now, how I did my greeting, I'm going to pop this on the back. So I've got a greeting that comes from, I'm trying to remember what stamp set it's from. Good Things Are Worth Waiting For. I love that greeting. And what I did was I stamped it onto some basic black. So I'm going to just use my buddy again. If you don't have an embossing buddy, you can use powder, normal talcum powder, if you've got some. And it should rub off even on the dark colours. So Good Things Are Worth Waiting For. I'm just going to stamp it up the top there. And I'm going to use my gold Stampin' Emboss powder. Just pour it all on there. All made a bit of a mess. That's okay. Just get that back in there. And I'll clean that up later. All right, let's just heat this up, and you can see it pop off the black cardstock. It's beautiful. Awesome. A little bit there. There we go. Just want to make sure you get all of that powder melted so that the greeting stands out and is just shiny against that black cardstock. So what I did then was I just used my paper snips basically and roughly cut around each of the words. Good things are worth waiting for. And honestly, I didn't try to be too neat about it. In fact, it looks really good if you're not too neat. It just it's a really fun way of popping a greeting off a card without you having to use a punch or having to emboss it straight on there. It stands out a little bit more. So that's also embossed in gold. So yeah, there's 5 gold things happening. There's the ribbon, the faceted gems, the thread, the gold leafing, and our gold embossing Stampin' Emboss powder. That's it. I hope you enjoyed watching that, and I hope you are already having fun with your Butterfly Brilliance bundle. If you are looking for it, it's actually in my online store right now. As I said, it's a sneak peek from the new catalogue coming out in May, and you can visit me at www.vanessawebb.stampinup.net to browse and have a look at all those products. And don't forget to visit me on my blog and my Facebook page and Instagram to see more beautiful cards that I've made using this new bundle. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye.